So apparently Shigatsu is going to have a love triangle because this episode sets up that type of event. Because Tsubaki has a little bit of the spotlight this episode, and then the other two characters, Kaori and Arima, both have their spotlight also. But in this episode, we see a different perspective. Tsubaki, we get to see her perspective of an outsider's perspective of the way Kaori and Arima look together. Like how they look together when they're doing their music together or when they're hanging out together. We get to see how Tsubaki looks at the situation. Because from the first episode, ever since we saw Kaori's, introduction, and when we saw Arima starting to hang out with her, he always had these thoughts of how she radiated. Like she was glowing. She was shining in his eyes, and she was a blinding flash of light. That's pretty much how he described Kaori since the very beginning. Well, in this episode, they make complete reference to show that Tsubaki's eyes are clouded, very clouded, and at the exact same time, the way they used the tone and atmosphere with how the sky was, and the way she was looking at Kaori and Arima together, it showcased that she was jealous. She has these conflicting feelings about Arima, and it seems like she's starting to have some form of romance, or she's realizing she actually cares for him a lot. And so this is where I come to place and say that we do have a love triangle forming, which I was kind of scared of. I was actually worried that we'd have a love triangle since the first episode, but it was cleared up around the second episode. But with this episode, I guess we do have a love triangle forming. It's not bad. The way they actually handled this episode, personally, it was a good episode. It handled the love triangle properly, and since I know this series is a romance series, it's gonna have to have these trials with romance, so I can look past the entire part, and actually, the way they handled it was a decent way to handle the way the love triangle was introduced in this episode, so I'm honestly satisfied the way this episode did. Now, the episode is mainly based on the perspective of Tsubaki, just seeing how she looks at the world, and the way the overall atmosphere and mood of the episode does it, it is splendid. A splendid episode because of the way the animators decide to showcase this entire episode, because we have some perspectives that switch over to Arima and Kaori just spending time together and they're having a happy time, and then you have one moment to where you see Tsubaki just in a very daisy, cloudy environment, and the way it shifts like that, you can tell the tone shifts, and the way it is, it's actually really brilliant, the way the writers actually done this. The mangaka that wrote the series did a good job with actually using those different types of tones, and the way the animators actually showcased that through the weather, that was awesome. So, one thing I want to talk about, okay, I noticed with this episode, besides the Tsubaki bit, there was an entire scene with how we're seeing more obvious signs that Kaori and Arima, they have kind of opposite personalities, but you have it to where Arima is actually starting to grow a lot more attached to Kaori. Like, he's more intrigued. He's more willing to open himself up to actually express his inner self and have fun. That's pretty much what this episode also shows. It shows you that how he's growing attached to Kaori. Now, let's get into a couple other events in this episode. Now, as we know, we found out that pretty much Kaori just passed out after the play. She just completely collapsed on the floor, she passed out, and she had to go to the hospital. And so, with this episode, we find out she went to the hospital because she's always been weak since a very early age, but this is the first time that she's ever passed out. So this leads me to believe that whatever she has, whatever condition or whatever she has, is actually something very bad. And judging by how they kind of had a hints and foreshadowing with the hospital, they tried to hide past it. The way she was doing the play with Arima in this episode, like when it started showing flashbacks of that scene, she stated like she would be fine if this was her last play. Like, she'll play it as if it was her last time, like even if she dies. Like, she will remember this entire play. And the thing is with that is foreshadowing. That's a given death flag. That is an absolute death flag for her character, or something very bad about to happen. And now, I'm starting to get a little bit of Clanad vibes. I want to say that right now. I'm getting Clanad vibes when I see something like this. When I see a death flag on a female character in a romance, I'm getting Clanad vibes. And the thing is that the way she's getting sick, it kind of reminds me of the mother. I'm starting to think that whatever the sickness the mother had, of Arima's mother, I'm thinking that maybe Kaori might be sick with the same thing, whatever it is. And it has me worried. It actually really has me worried that she might die at the ending of this series, or die soon, I don't know. But overall, the episode was really good. Like I said, I enjoyed the episode a lot. But there's only one thing I actually really want to bring up that's actually kind of a little bit of a complaint, but it's nothing too bad. The animation. Now, I know for a fact those comedy segments in this episode, when you saw the faces change, it's supposed to be taken as a comedy segment, and it was just the change in art style. But I know exactly what the studio that's currently making the series was doing in that part, which it's understandable. I'm not complaining, and, I'm not saying it made this episode bad. I'm not, by no means. But that entire scene with the comedy bits, with the faces, with the other characters and stuff, this episode, that was a way for them to save budget. I want to say right now, that was definitely a way for them to save budget on the animation, because let's be honest here, the animation of this series is fucking beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And so, they use these comedy scenes as a budget saver. And it really is kind of jarring when you're looking at these beautiful animation scenes with Kaori and Arima, just talking with each other, and then the next moment you go into these comedy segments where the faces look completely different. I'm like, whoa! It's very weird and off compared to the other scenes we see in this episode, and it can be a little bit jarring, honestly. People could probably look at it at first glance and say, that's shitty animation, but really it's just a choice of art style. The animation honestly looked really good with the comedy scenes, it's just the way it definitely was meant to save budget, I can tell. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode of Shigatsu. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What's your favorite moments about it? I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.